Back to what I was saying, that whether or not that poop can be fertilizer, it can't because they're eating a diet they're not supposed to eat. So it's loaded with gas, pure methane gas.
Wow.
Pure methane gas. You put that poop anywhere and it'll burn all vegetation. It'll burn it like fire.
Wow.
Last thing you ever want to do is light a match at a feedlot.
Wow.
Okay. That's probably the only thing you can use that stuff for. It cannot be fertilizer. Okay, because it'll burn, it'll kill. The only thing you can use it for is alternative energy. Problem with that is they found that it took more energy to convert it into alternative energy than to just use gas. You see, so it's expensive. You can use it, but it's expensive to get it there. Yeah.
I'm not going to use that.
Sometimes when I ride through the country, I still smell manure. So they're doing something.
Now we're done with the feedlot. Done with the feedlot manure. All right, now, so the question is, if they can't use it for manure, where does all this poop go?
Lakes and ponds.
Nowhere.
They make man-made
I know,
lakes.
honey, I'm getting there. I'm getting
Ponds
there.
for it to run off into.
But let me tell you where a lot of it goes. Pretty much nowhere. Okay, this is what happens. Big old tractor comes and shovels it to one area of the feedlot.
A pile.
Yeah. And it only happens like once a month. These animals are just, it's everywhere.
Wow.
Then it rains. What do you think happens? Huh? It goes into the what?
Water supply.
It goes into the lakes, the rivers, the sewers, the ocean. It's killing our fish. Everyone thinks that we don't have a big supply of fish because we're overfishing.
It's
We're
killing
not
our
fishing
food
any more
supply,
than we
period.
ever have.
Killing our
It's
planet.
just they're not producing as fast as they used to because they're dying because this stuff is ending up in the water.
That's just,
And Farmer Brown, with his vegetable garden, decides, okay, well, I got to go water my strawberries. 15 miles up the road is Farmer Joe with the feedlot. Farmer Brown's watering the strawberries. Next thing you know, in California, big outbreak of Salmonella and Shigella and E. coli in strawberries. And Farmer Brown's like, what the heck? Why do I have Salmonella in my strawberries? Well, it came from the feedlot in the water. And now, whenever you see an outbreak in vegetables like this, they start irradiating it. We did have a salmonella outbreak in strawberries. Now, all berries are irradiated. We had a Shigella outbreak in spinach. All leafy greens are irradiated. Recently, we had the peanut thing. Just a matter of time before all nuts are irradiated. Whenever you hear an outbreak, you can bet they're going to start irradiating. So, look. So, that's why I say all your animal products are irradiated and more of your produce is becoming irradiated. Now, is any of this a problem in our food? We don't know. We don't know. We can all assume. I mean, I think any person with a brain would think, that sounds pretty scary.
yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
No.
Okay, I don't know if I want to eat that.
I don't want to eat it.
But we're told by all these organizations that it's fine. We're told it's fine. Only problem with that is that if you go back and ask them, you raise your hand and say, okay, you said it was fine. My question is based on what?
And who?
How do you know it's fine?
Exactly. We don't.
Well, you don't see any dead people now, do you?
I
Well,
don't.
yeah, actually, I see people with diabetes. I see people with
Cancer.
hypertension.
Cancer.
I see obese people. I mean, so have you done any studies as to whether or not it's okay to consume this stuff? You know what the answer is? No.
So how do you get away with it?
No. There have been no
Government.
studies. Government supporting it. You know, you what? You guys can blame the government all you want. You know how they got away with it? Because of you. You.
We're consuming it.
You don't want to pay $15 a pound for a pound of ground beef. Well, if you don't want to pay for it, no problem. We'll give you the cheap stuff. But here's what we're going to do to get it cheap. You can blame the government all you want. Bottom line, it's you. It's me. It's all of us. Earlier, you said to me that this was expensive, and I said, actually, no, it's not. It's cheap. Grow your own, or eat beans and rice. Get the meat out of your diet.
Soybeans.
And if you're not willing to do it, then you can't complain. Can't. Okay? You just can't. And I know this. And believe me, I ride both sides of the fence all the time. I do. I know all the bad, and I know all the reasons why we let it go, and I know. And a lot of people ask me, well, do you buy only organic? No. I'm not rich.
Right.
I do not buy only organic. Okay? What I do is I pick and choose. I will not buy, I buy organic milk. I buy organic meat. When it comes to animal products, I buy organic. Okay? Most whole, like milk and meat. Cheeses? No, I'm not going to buy organic cheeses. Yogurt, I do buy organic. I pick and choose. Fruits and vegetables, I try and buy from the farmer locally, but sometimes that's a pain in the butt, so when I go to the grocery store, I'll just look for whatever I know grows in Georgia or around Georgia, you know, the southeast, because I can't get rid of my citrus. I'm from Florida, so I love my oranges. But I look for what will grow in this area, and I look to see that it's grown in this area, and that's what I do. But I pick and choose. You know, I do. I pick and choose. I can't afford to do 100% organic. I can't do that. I can't. All right, so that's what I do.
Do you think it would be better to go to a market?
Huh?
Do you think it would be better to go to a market, like an international market?
No. In fact, I wouldn't. A lot of people think an international market, and I'm glad you called it that, because so many people say farmer's market, and I want it. That should be outlawed. This is the only state in the country that allows that. That should be outlawed, because there are many people walking the street thinking they shop at a farmer's market, and they don't. They shop at an international market. Big difference. A farmer's market, a true farmer's market, is outside in a parking lot.
Yep.
And the farmer is right there. It's the guy selling off the back of his truck.
Yep. Yep.
All right? That's what a farmer's market is. Those international markets, they're cheap. They're cheap for a reason. They get second pick. You know what second pick is? The wholesaler sells to Walmart and Kroger and Publix first. And then what doesn't sell to them goes to the international market. So it's older. You ever notice you buy that 33 cent a pound banana from the farmer's market or the 69 cent a pound from Publix? The one from the farmer's market's rotten in 3 days. You ever notice that?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the reason. It's older. It's older. Okay? Yes.
I like to go to the market, the outdoor fruit market.
Yes.
Yeah, Pendergrass Mill, the largest farmers market in Georgia. You go over there and you have a whole bunch of farmers.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah. But I like that place too. Yeah, that little produce stand, what they do, those little produce stands, they go to the, one over by the airport. What's the farmer's market? East Point, right? Forest Park? Yeah,
Oh,
they go
that's
to
just
East
nice.
Point and buy it and then take it there. And that's fine, that's good. By the way, I don't never have to ask, I'll tell you right now, I'm dirt poor, but I don't need to know your financial situation. I know some of our students qualify. I don't know if you do, and I don't need to know. But food stamps, I don't know if you know this, but there is an organization here in Georgia called Wholesome Way. .org, maybe it's .com. What they do all they do, and it's so funny because my old boss in New York City started this up. And there's only three states that do it, Connecticut, New York, and Georgia. He's a cool guy, he's a chef. He's a chef that was a business partner with Paul Newman, the actor. Anyway, Wholesome Wave doubles the value of food stamps at farmers markets. Certain farmers markets in the state of Georgia will take a food stamp dollar and double it. So even if you don't get food stamps, and you know someone who does, and to them it's worthless, you know that person that sells them, you buy them. You buy them because you give them the face value, take it to the farmer's market, and get double the value. There's not all of them, but if you go to that website, it'll tell you which ones in Georgia. I know the one by the airport we were just talking about does. I know Morningside. I know the Decatur one. Right here every Wednesday in the Bank of America on Ponce have the farmers market. I know they do it. There are certain farmers markets that will double the value. Yeah, the Bank of America is every Wednesday. Okay.
Is it talking the farmer's market or it's another market?
I'm talking about the outside farmers market, not the international market. Farmers market.
Different neighborhoods. And it's by VOA. Is it before you get to the international market? There's the list that's been compiled of all the local farms and all that stuff. Other homes.
I'm the one that supplies that list. In fact, I gotta go fill it. It's a flow through club. I put out a list. I have a list where you go to your county. I gotta fill it. It's empty right now. The flow through our club, we put out a list, and it's a packet of all the farmers markets and restaurants and grocery stores that supply local organic food in your area, and you just open it up and find your county, and it'll tell you all the things in your county. I'm glad to know you all know about it. I gotta fill it out. If you go to my desk, underneath the drawers, the big stack of papers, will you bring them in here? You know what I'm talking about?
Rural county comes in handy.
You know the two drawers on all our
I
desks?
know all them places where everybody is.
There's a stack of papers underneath my two drawers on the floor. Can you bring them in? Thank you.
That helped me out a lot because I'm not from Georgia.
I don't think I have enough for everyone in here, but I'll make more copies and I'll fill it.
Yeah.
That's what being ready.
Huh?
That's what being ready.
Yes.
I know all these places.
Yes. Oh my God, the redneck has been elevated. No, I'm serious. Since they grew up on the farm, they knew all about this. All along, they know where to get all the raw milk and the fresh cheese and the deer sausage that you need. They know, and it's like, yeah, right on.
The deer part comes out of the backfield.
All right, so, do you all understand what organic means?
Yes.
I will go into further depth. I have no pastry students in here, correct? One? Sorry. If you want to know more about this, join the Slow Food Club. That's all I can tell you. The rest of you will get contemporary cuisine. Well, I will tell you, and I know more horror stories than she does, I will tell you what really happens to your food and what you're really eating in contemporary cuisine.
Oh, wow.
I just brush on it in this class.
Wow. When I had
You will be surprised
Wow.
what you eat. Trust me.
Wow.
Okay, so that's organic fruit. One thing I will tell you is this. I think this is very important because I think one of you just touched on it recently. In other countries, every country but our own, every single one of us, but our own. Do you know what they call the food that meets that criteria?
What?
Normal, everyday food.
Food.
Yeah, it ain't organic.
Food. We are the only country that does this stuff to our food. And we have begged for labeling forever. If you have cold meat, can you label it? No. Really?
Wow.
We can't label cloned meat? No. If you have pig hormones in the tomatoes, can you label it? No.
What is the purpose of the?
It'll scare the customers away
Huh?
from buying the food.
Oh, they have genetically spliced all types of stuff. You have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
They put
Frankenfood.
like spider genes in
What?
in lamb.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. It's crazy. So all we ask for is, would they label it? If they're going to do this for the food, would they label it? And they refused. Instead, the solution was, okay, here's what we're going to do. Because we're like, we need to be informed about what we're eating here, guys. You can't do this to us. All right, we'll offer an alternative. We'll call it organic. And that's what they did. The unfortunate thing is that there are so many people walking this country that don't know this and never will. They just see the word organic, and to them that means expensive. And that's all it means. So all these people, and that's why I said to you before, I really think it's a conspiracy. All these people, when it comes to education, all these people are walking the earth thinking it's fine. It's food.
Real meat.
And it's not. Okay? Now, as I said, in every other country but our own, this they call food. Let me give you an example. This has freaked me out. I'll never forget. I saw a PowerPoint about 10 months ago. A woman who actually, she's on Dr. Oz all the time. She was here in Atlanta. She was a mother with a kid who had autism and food allergies, and she was worried about she was feeding her kid, and started working. Very educated woman, had a PhD in like economics or whatever, but she decided that she was going to spearhead getting the food safe for her kids. Okay, and now you see her, she wrote a book. You see her on CNN. You see her on, her name's Robin something. I don't know.
Ryan.
Yeah, she was in Marietta or Alpharetta.
Marietta?
Yeah, something like that.
I showed them her video.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Anyway, real cool woman. I went to see her talk at a Georgia Organics Convention. She did a PowerPoint. She had the website and everything. Did a PowerPoint. And what she did was that she took 2 pictures of an ingredient label of 2 Nutri-Grain cereal bars, strawberry flavored. Okay? Strawberry flavored Nutri-Grain cereal bars. Well, you all know that some of our food is exported. Okay? So, one box was headed to England, and the other box was to be sold here in America. And the ingredient labels were different. Totally different. Ours, of course, high fructose corn syrup and all that.
Garbage.
Artificial food dyes. Natural and artificial strawberry flavors. Okay, that was our ingredient. And then a bunch of words that none of us were like, what? What is that? Yeah, polymono and xanthan and gum and all that. And you're like, what? Locust? And like, what the? That. Okay, there's whole wheat flour, strawberries, beet syrup for color and flavor, and sugar.
All natural.
Same doggone thing. 2 different ingredients. Because this, the one in the U.S., is illegal over there.
That's just like a turkey.
So in order to make up the profit, because it costs them more to make for the food over there, so in order to make up the loss, we do it for them. Because they can give us the super cheap crap, and we'll pay the same amount as they will in England for the good stuff. So we level the profit margin. You understand? That's what we do for them.
Wow.
Kind of like, what's that guy named, the farmer that you went to visit, what's his name?
Salatan?
Yeah, Joe Salatan. He's like, on Food Inc., or maybe Fresh, he says, I'll be selling my eggs, and the guy will look up and be like, what?
Oh, it's a can of soda.
$4 for eggs, and he's standing there with a $1.50 Coca-Cola in his hand.
Yeah, and a dozen eggs will feed you for what, 3-4 days? That can doesn't even feed you, makes you sick.
Yeah.
And
in their hand, slurping that down, but $4 for eggs, you gotta be out of your mind.
That's ridiculous.
he also said something very important too in that same movie. He said, And this is the reason why, guys, the mystique of cheap food, meaning what I told you before. You want your food cheap, you get it cheap. And that means all the crap that goes in it, literally crap that goes in it. Thing is it's cheap right now. But you are paying through the nose in environmental cleanup costs in your taxes and in healthcare costs for not just you, but everyone else that's buying the cheap food. That's what's happening. So it's not really cheap. It's just you think it is. Okay? Now, let me go over this slide and I'll let you go. This one, no. Oh, yeah, this one and then one right. To finish up this subject. With labeling, with that label, this is what you need to know. This is important. With the whole food, you now know the difference between whole food and processed food, right? By law, to get that label on whole food, it must be 95 to 100% organic. To get that label on processed food, it only has to be 70% organic. That's important. Let me explain. The reason why it only has to be 70 is because if you were a food manufacturer, let's say you're making empanadas, and you want to make organic empanadas to sell frozen at the grocery store, and you wanted the USDA label, if you had to do the 100%, you now have to buy organic oil, organic salt, organic seasonings, herbs, spices, and it gets too tedious. So what you do is you make your main ingredients organic, and things like salt and oil, whatever you buy regular. That sounds feasible. Here's the problem with it, though. As the consumer, you think when you go buy that empanada, oh, it's organic, I'm good, I'm safe. Yeah, but it's 30% what?
Exactly.
It could be 30% GMOs, it could be 30% antibiotics, hormones, 30% irradiation, 30% artificial food colorings, 30% something not even edible, 30% cow poop. You understand? 30% is a big chunk.
Yeah.
Okay? So the answer is this. You really are concerned? Buy only whole foods. Do not buy processed food. And trust me, guys, if you talk to anybody who's lived in another country for any length of time, they will tell you, I didn't even try, and I lost weight. And you know why? Because processed food does not exist in a lot of other countries. And they lost weight because they cooked their own. They manage their own fat intake, their own salt intake, their own this and that, and they lose weight. So if we just stopped buying processed food, that would solve a huge chunk of our healthcare epidemic.
Wow.
Okay? Let me show you this next slide, and then I'll let you go, just so you can see the difference in labeling. Cereal is a processed food. Okay? So that means by law, to get the label, they only need to have 70% organic. Okay? But here, not only do they have the label, they went so far as they didn't even do the 70%. Let's give it to her. They didn't even do the 70%. They went all the way to 100. And they said, look, we could just do this, which means 70%, but we did this. 100.
Okay.
So it's almost like buying a whole food, even though it's a processed food. Okay? And over here is a processed food, so 70%.
Yeah.
1 second. Over here, I don't know if you can read it, but this is regular cereal, but it says some of the ingredients are organic, but not enough to make up 70%. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And over here is just your regular box of cereal. Yes, ma'am.
Can they mislead you by putting 100% organic cereal, but within the product of itself,
That's illegal.
not?
By law, no, they cannot. That doesn't mean they don't. What you can see is this. You can see that, which doesn't mean squat in our country. You've got to have that.
Got it.
Okay? Yes.
I know in the bulk spread, it says, for the label organic, it has to be 95%.
95, a minimum of 95. Right.
It's a whole food like chicken.
Made with organic.
No, 70, if it's processed, 70% is the minimum.
Yeah,
We have
like
a
cereal or empanada, like something at 30 minutes.
Really? I'll read over that later.
Yeah, like she said,
I'll check, double
So
check.
they put the 100% just to selling point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who wants one of these? If you all do, okay, I gotta save this much to go put in the box out there, and I'll make more copies, fill it again, come up and get one. If you were not in lineup,